Ja, välkomna till ännu en Kind Cigar Service videocast. Idag blir det lite annorlunda. Idag har jag nämligen besök av en dansk. Jesper, som distribuerar en hel del cigarrer i bland annat Norden. Och så har vi besök av en engelsk och spansktalande herre, Oscar Connecticut, från Honduras. Ja. Ja. Och av den anledningen så har vi bestämt att vi ska hålla det på engelska idag. Cigarrerna vi ska röka idag heter The Leaf. Och vi tänkte faktiskt att vi skulle försöka hinna med att röka 3 cigarrer den här gången. Det är nämligen så kul att Oscar har skapat 3 Leaf än så länge. En Corojo, och en Connecticut och en Maduro. Och de är alla 3 i samma storlek. Vilket gör att det kan vara lite intressant att röka dem allihopa på en gång här. Och prata lite om dem. The Leaf är ju, kommer ju en liten annorlunda presentation. Det är en cigarr som är inrullad i ett tobaksblad. Det är därför de ser väldigt rough ut här. Med en gördel runt. Så man börjar helt enkelt med att försöka plocka bort den här yttre gördeln. Och sen så packar man ut den här babyn ur tobaksbladet. Oscar, is there any particular reason you've chosen to do this other than that it's attractive and it's different? Is there any thoughts behind the extra wrapper?
You know, I try to put something different in the market. This is a particular idea for in my factory, and I think it's helping in the cigar too. You know, for the humidity inside, conserve more of the flavor. So this is like experiment, you know, for making a different in the market. Also, the wrapper, the bands of the cigars is with cactus, organic paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Made from cactus.
Yeah, and you see the imperfection in the bands.
Yep.
It's flowers. The name is Napoleon. It's flowers in Honduras. So it's making organic paper with very rustic cigar. You know, the wrapper is different.
Oh yeah, the band is definitely different.
Yeah.
And I like the idea. The whole cigar oozes of organic. Mm-hmm. You know, you got the extra tobacco leaf. Mm-hmm. You got the organic paper.
Yeah.
And I mean, for being a Latino product, it's very subtle. The band. Okay. Which I like very much, and I do think that many Nordic people would appreciate that as well. Mm. Då tänder vi upp. The draw, I actually didn't try it out dry, but it's pretty much perfect.
Yeah, it's every single cigar I'm making in my factory is have a draw master, so I check it out every single cigar. So I try to make sure, you know, people have a good draw of the cigars.
Yeah, because if there's one thing I hate more than a tight draw, it's a too loose draw.
Yeah.
I actually find that worse.
Yeah. Yeah. So check it out the cigars is, you know, you need to make sure you know they're correct, because if you put too much material in the cigar, you know can smoke, it's too tight. But if you put less tobacco, you don't enjoy it because you don't have the flavor. You smoke like air.
Oh.
So
it's a balance.
It's a balance. Yeah.
The right amount of tobacco that puts the flavor out there, mm-hmm. but still allows you to get a good draw.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to feel the good construction is in this cigar already from the beginning when you cut it, because many cigars got like flaw in when you cut it, they break in the mouthpiece and in the cap. It's really well constructed cigar.
The ash is very white. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? On dark gray ash or light ash? Is it due to the combustion, or could you tell something from the origin of the tobacco, from the color of the ash?
Yeah, it's this depends, you know, different seeds, also different type of tobaccos. For example, Connecticut, you know, is dark wrapper is more thick, so it gives more faster, you know, and it's more white. But some wrappers like Maduro is more heavy, you know, so it's more hard for burn, you know.
Okay.
And this, if you see the Maduros, is a little bit more different with the Corojos and Connecticut when it's born. So it says because the leaf is very root, you know, it's very strong. So it depends on the seed, you know, it's different.
Okay.
Yeah, and also it's very important too the fermenting. So some cigars is because it's not really fermenting, so it's, you know, it's no burn very even, and you have the correct fermenting, so it's much better, and the ash is more white.
Okay. So this is the Connecticut one we're smoking right now. Could you tell us anything more about the blend? It was mainly Honduran tobacco.
Yeah, actually this is Connecticut seed growing in Honduras right now. It's one experiment like 4 years ago, I think. So it's very good. I like the flavor in the Connecticut. It's give more sweetness, and also have a flavor like a Habano seed. You know, this is only the binder is from Nicaragua,
Okay.
in the cigar. The rest is 4 different fields in Honduras. One is Copan, is one of the Mayan areas,
Yeah.
and another is in Danli, is a Hamastran area,
Yeah.
and Trojes, Olancho, and San Agustin. So it's different farms in Honduras. So it's only the boundary from Nicaragua.
Okay. So we have 4 different fields of Honduran tobacco in the filler, and then we have the Nicaraguan binder.
Yeah.
And then we actually have something quite interesting here. We have a Honduran Connecticut wrapper.
Yeah.
We were talking about this off air earlier, that I sometimes personally have an issue with Connecticut wrappers, but this one is definitely different. I'm not sure I could spot this in a blind taste, but there's the Connecticut style definitely, but there's another depth to the taste. Some fruity notes.
And
I
more
enjoy.
sweet.
Yeah.
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 And a good flavor in that wrapper.
Jesper here is distributing Leaf and Rosarilla cigars in the Nordic countries, right?
In fact, in whole Europe.
Whole Europe.
Yeah. So we just been to Germany last week promoting the cigars down there. Some of the good cigar clubs in Berlin.
Nice.
Yeah, there was the guys down there really enjoyed the cigars, so it's going to be. I think it's going to be a great success. And we already almost have a deal with one of the bigger distributors in Germany. So.
A lot of guys that knows what they're doing down there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I handed out some of the samples already back after the Intertabac in September, and so already at that point they were talking very nicely about the cigar.
Yeah.
Because these people don't take in whatever brand comes onto the market, because at the moment a lot of people are just throwing in a lot of new brands. So they're very critical about what they introduce to the market, because it's the reputation of the company that's online when they takes in like a brand like this that nobody don't know yet.
No.
So that's a good sign. Exactly. Yeah.
That's what's so interesting about this. I mean, this tastes like a like a 125 kroner cigar in Sweden, but actually retails at 70, which I think that makes this cigar very interesting.
Yeah.
And actually, yesterday we were visiting Jesper and Oscar in Copenhagen, where Jesper threw a release party for Oscar's cigars, the Leaf and Rosalia.
Yeah, we had also brought up one of the journalists from Cigar Journal, and I showed Monday, the day before the event, I showed her around the new places in Copenhagen where you can smoke cigars, the new lounges that the Jane and Strøm. Yeah, you pretty much know Strøm because it's owned by Swedish people. You know? Yeah, but they made a cigar lounge, and the owners were there, and she took some pictures for the next version of Cigar Journal. And she smoked the Leaf all day, and you know, we didn't comment on any, require any comments for it, but during the evening, Monday evening, she looked at Oscar and said, of course I already talked with her about this, but she said it definitely has to send this cigar for a review. So that was,
wow.
And she's the one in charge for arranging the reviews and blind tastings at Cigar Journal.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's a pretty good point as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this in Swedish. Det är faktiskt pratar han om Köpenhamn, och att han visade runt Cigar Journal-journalisten på alla ställena som har poppat upp i Köpenhamn och som har inrett cigarlounger och som har rökning tillåten. Och där finns en del, exempelvis då Strøm på Gråbröder torg, som har de har inrett en cigarlounge nu, och sen så är det väl en dag i veckan de har helt fritt i hela restaurangen.
Tuesday, ja.
Och sen är det The Jane där vi var igår, de också har rökning där. Så att vi planerar lite grann att kanske göra en cigar crawl. Om inte nu så till nästa sommar kanske. När vi samlar ihop en busslast svenskar och åker över och besöker alla de här trevliga ställena i fantastiska Köpenhamn.
Yeah, I can tell you that already now I'm working together with 3 other bars about opening up cigar lounges. So next year will be even more. Yeah.
Sounds great. I wish that was the case in Sweden. But we're still, I mean, in Skåne, where we are right now, on the southern parts of Sweden, there is nowhere that I know of, except here, where you could smoke cigars. I mean, there's a Grand Hotel in Lund, have a small place under the stairs where you can smoke cigars. It's okay, nice. It's not grand,
Okay.
as the Grand Hotel, but it's okay. Other than that, it's only here in Kind Cigars Lounge, where you can meet up and smoke cigars indoors, which is a shame.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll find a brave entrepreneur in Malmö or Helsingborg that kicks something off.
Yeah.
So that's a shout out. If you own a restaurant or anything, get on top of this, really.
This is what you call in Swedish a smultronställe.
Yeah, what's that?
What is Martin? Smultron på engelska.
Yeah, I don't know, the small strawberry.
Yeah, a small strawberry that grows in the wild.
Okay.
And often they grow in high quantities in one place, one location.
Yeah.
And if you find a smultronställe, then you're in for a good treat with a lot of good berries. And this is
Good shit.
definitely a smultronställe.
So Oscar, could you tell us a little about yourself and your experience with cigars the past 5-10 years or so?
I worked for a company for like 8 years ago. I worked for the company in Honduras. It's a big brand in the market. I start with helping, and for the groups, bring groups to the US to Honduras, and I helping to give the tours and the factories, fields. So this is give me the interesting for me for going for that business.
Okay.
I started with smoking and learning, and every day learning and more and more and more about cigars. 3 years later, I working only like half time, you know, like 7 months a year I work for only for the tours. But the company give me the offer for working, you know, full time. And I say, okay, but I need to see what is the different process in different factories. So I was making idea, you know, what is the difference. I traveling with Cuba, and I stayed 1 month in Cuba. I visit different farms, different fields, different factories, and I smoke different cigars. I come back to Nicaragua and I visit a couple of friends. I have a factory right now, and you know, start learning. And later I'm ready, so I come back to Honduras and staying there and learning every day. Every day you can learning more and more.
Yeah.
This business is, you never stop the learning, you know. So I learning with the fermenting, blending, you know, all the process. And 6 years ago I made my first company. It's a distribution company in Honduras. I start only in Honduras. Okay, you know, Honduras making cigar, but not too many smokers in Honduras.
Okay.
Cigar smokers. So I started making my first event, and you know, I bring people in the capital city, and you know, teaching the people how smoking the cigars, and education the people what is the process, you know, of the cigars. For example, this cigar is almost like 5 years for you ready to smoke. Wow. You know, with the seed, with the farms, curing bands, fermentation, all the process. So, you know, I started to in Honduras and different cities, you know, selling the cigars. It's really hard, and my first year I selling very little, you know, but next year I increase myself for 1000%.
Wow.
And next year double, so it is, you know, growing more and more. And I'm making like humidors and put in bars, restaurants, and people right now is, you know, more education, so it's smoking more.
So from being a Honduras being a nation of cigar production, not so much cigar smoking. I mean, you were exporting maybe 95% of the production, at least.
Yeah, no more.
More.
Yeah, more. And because, you know, all the factories like Free Sun is only for export. Yeah. So the product not staying in the country. So this is one of my ideas. Why if Honduras making good cigars, why you know can't have it in Honduras? So I start with that, and it's making very good job. And later, three years later, you know, have the distribution for another brand for all Latin America and the Caribbean. So right now I sell in almost like 8 countries in Latin America. And you know, education the people. I say, okay, I don't say this is better than another cigar. You say only you try it. It's different flavors, different options. You have it. So enjoy the cigar. And 1 year ago, one of my dreams is have my factory and my brand. But when I wanna making my brand, I wanna have the control. So I wanna have the factory. Yeah. So right now I'm living like my dream. I have my factory. And also I support the people in the fields, so it's growing tobacco for me right now, the specific fields I wanted in Honduras, specific flavors, you know, different aromas, and making a different blends, you know, is because I have, for example, in leaf is 95–98% is Honduran tobacco, you know, only the band that is from Nicaragua, and give different options to the people. And I started 1 year ago with my factory, and making a different ideas, you know, like the packaging you see right now is different. For example, the Connecticut is the paper, the band is with coconut paper, organic.
Oh, okay. The band around the bundle.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
But also around the cigar, or
no?
No, that was the cactus.
The cactus. Yeah. So it's a community in Honduras. The woman's making organic paper. And I tried helping the people too, you know, in my country. So this community right now is, you know, making the paper for me, and I put in the market, and it's amazing. In 1 year, the people accept this cigar. You know, it's like, wow, it's good flavor, with this, and I started making like 1,000 cigar a month. Right now I'm making 50,000 a month.
50,000 already, and you already only been live with your factory a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 1 year, and I sell in US a little bit portion, you know, in specific areas. And this is my first time here in Europe, and I visit Germany, you know, Denmark,
Yeah.
and right now right here. And I have a very good comments to the people. People enjoy the cigar, and it's a different option right now on the market.
So you've been working with Oscar now for a while. How did you guys meet?
Yeah, in fact, I heard about Oscar first time for a couple of years ago when one of my friends from Denmark, Erik Nording, who is
Famous pipe maker.
famous pipe maker, and he also made a couple of cigars together with Rocky Patel. And he mentioned Oscar when I was going to visit Honduras, and he gave me one of his most expensive pipes with me and said, you have to give this to Oscar when you come to Honduras, because he's a really nice guy and a good friend of mine.
Wow.
So unfortunately Oscar was not in Honduras when I came, so I had to bring it back and ship it to you from Denmark. But a year later I met Oscar in Vegas at the big trade show there. And yeah, we just hit it out, had some beers and a lot of cigars.
That's a good way to start.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the way it is in the cigar business, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple of Oscar cigars, and I found them very interesting and very tasteful, and the construction of the cigar I thought was perfect. And I think this should be a product that should be available in Europe. So that's the way it came. I got some sample with me home, brought them to the Intertabak in Germany a couple of months later, and the response from my German friends was very good.
Yeah.
So we slowly worked on it and kept in touch, and yeah, so a couple of months ago we said, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's get this cigar to Europe. I could see that it was going very well in the US as well, at the Leaf and Bean and all these places where they were retailed. So yeah, I used my contacts in Europe, and here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, obviously, you guys are enjoying them in the subscription, where we hopefully manage to get all the 3 wrappers out there, so to speak. The Connecticut one, and the Maduro, and the Corojo one. I've been smoking my first third now of the Connecticut cigar, and the main notes is definitely it's fruity, and there's some sweetness, and considering the Connecticut wrapper, it's much different than I would have expected, in a good way.
Definitely, I think the wrapper is a little uncharacteristic for Connecticut, because a little thicker wrapper than normally, and I think there's a little more taste to it than a normal Connecticut.
But there are also some woody notes. There's some of the cedar, perhaps, that you were talking about earlier. When you blended this cigar, did you have any? Obviously did. But what was your aim? What was the flavor you were going for? Sorry, what was the body and the flavor profile you were going for?
That depends, you know. Depends what cigar you want to make it. You know, like you want to make it like a mild cigar with flavor, or medium body cigar, or medium to full body cigars. You have a different options of tobacco, you know, for blending. I can say, you know, the tobacco from Honduras, for example, Copan, is give a great aroma and very good flavor. and I can mix it with another fields and Hamastran. Hamastran tobacco is like sweetness and strong. So you have a different, because the soil gives to you a different tobaccos. You can have one seed in one field and you move to another field, it's change the flavor. So when I'm looking for with the cigars, I need mixes, the different tobaccos. I don't know, but for me it's like cooking. You put a little bit salt, pepper, vinegar, so all working together, and you need to make sure, some tobaccos is more strong than other tobaccos, so you need to have the balance.
Yeah.
Okay. When you making a blend and the cigar is really fresh, you have only like 80% of the real flavor. Yeah. The other 20% is coming with the 8 weeks in the aging room.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you smoke 8 weeks later, so you have the cigar much better. So when depend what I'm looking for on the market, I can make it like mild cigar with flavor, creamy and sweetness, or strong cigar, but I want the strong cigar with the flavor together.
Yeah. And so when you add the strength, it's often on the expense of flavor. So it's just the balance.
Yeah, you have the balance, because some cigar, you can make in some cigar, but sometimes the tobacco is too strong, so you lose the flavor.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of spices and power, but you don't have the flavor. No. And I'm working really hard and have that balance, flavor and power, so the people enjoy it more.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've noticed with the really strong cigars, that their entire profile is carried by the strength, meaning that when they age, they don't get much left. Once the power's gone, there's nothing left. But it's very, is it dry in your mouth? Sometimes Cubans can do that as well, which I like, actually.
Yeah, well, you can definitely taste in this cigar that the fermenting process has been, taking the time that it should be.
Yeah, there's no ammonia left here.
No.
Yeah, that's very important, for you making the cigar. For me, it's the more important part. You have the correct fermentation in the cigars. And I don't want, the tobacco is not really fermenting. You can smell a lot of ammonia and you don't enjoy the cigar. If you have that balance, the correct fermentation, correct blends, and put the different tobaccos together, it's working really good.
Yeah.
Vi gör oss redo att runda av den här cigarren nu, strax över halva ungefär, för att kunna ge oss på även Maduron och Corojon och ge vårt uttalande om dem. Men cigarren lämnar mig med en känsla av att den var ju då lite mildare än vad jag initialt tyckte. Oscar sa den var ju en mild cigar. Men att den är fruktig, lite söt, och så nötterna som blir mer och mer tydliga, tycker jag, nu när jag kommer ner. Jesper, har du några tankar innan vi lägger dem ifrån oss?
Yeah, normally I'm into more medium to full body cigars, but this cigar being mild still leaves you with a lot of flavor, I think. So I think it's a good, one of the best milder cigars that I've been smoking.
So I would definitely pick this out a beautiful summer morning with that second cup of coffee.
Yep.
Your paper on the porch, some birds singing. This would be the cigar with, I think this would be very interesting to pair this with one of Sandby's coffee roastery, one of the greener roasts. I actually think we're going to try the other two cigars with one of my favorite champagnes.
Now we're talking.